I started this gangster shit. And this the mother thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And this the mother thanks I get.
Hey, if you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. We need you here. Thanks. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, 20 years of which were spent working at DC Comics, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan and trusted member of the media. You know, when I say I'm a 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, I think some people just think that means that I'm a fan. I've been a comic book fan, and I'm a young man. People say, your voice sounds young, Ethan. You sound like you're 26 years old. So maybe you're saying you've been a comic book fan since birth, and then they get a look at me, and they say, oh my God, I didn't know you were my grandpa. I am 44. I'm going to be 45 on September 3rd. That's my birthday. It's going to be awesome. But I've been working in comics for 26 years, since 1993. And around 1997, I started working at DC Comics. And then, I don't know 2004, they handed me Green Lantern, and I think Green Lantern was the work of my career at DC Comics. People still remember my Green Lantern run with Jeff Johns fondly, and we created a lot of cool stuff. This is a piece of my artwork right here. This is Kyle Rayner, I have a lot of books that are still in print from DC Comics, even though I don't work there currently. Currently, I am working on Cyberfrog. I am self-published. I am working on my own indie venture. But yesterday I got this kind of message from DC Comics in my email that basically said, hey, do you want to rewrite your bio? The bio we use for all your comics? And because we're going to be putting out, we're re-releasing your run on Green Lantern, specifically Green Lantern Rebirth, in a new hardcover. And we want to make sure, we update your bio because, frankly, it still says you're married to your ex-wife and that your son Hunter plays with Hot Wheels. Isn't he 20 years old now? Yes, and also I'm divorced and remarried. So thank you for letting me do that. And then I thought, why are they doing this? Why are they re-releasing Green Lantern Rebirth again? Well, I guess this is why. Green Lantern Corps, thank you, by the way, Cosmic Book News. Green Lantern Corps, rumored for HBO Max. Now, look, 2010, they put out a Green Lantern movie, and it was disastrous. It was really, really bad. It was kind of based and propelled on the energy that was created by me and Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice and Patrick Gleason and Peter Tomasi. All of our collective work on Green Lantern kind of forced the Green Lantern movie into production and into reality. And it was a terrible movie. The movie didn't really understand what Green Lantern was. It didn't follow what we were doing. And thus, I think I didn't watch it in the movie theaters. I didn't. I waited until it was on DVD, and I bought the DVD, and I drank a whole bottle of wine with some friends. I had some friends over, we just drank, and I tried to watch it. I got 40 minutes into it, and I said, what am I even watching? And I don't think it was just because of all the wine I drank. I think it was just an incoherent movie that really didn't make me care about Hal Jordan or like Hal Jordan. Ryan Reynolds was just not the right guy. I have to say Mark Strong, also just not the right guy to play Sinestro. And the whole movie was kind of a mess. I think they did too much too soon, and I don't know. Movie audiences just didn't get it. And my ideas for a Green Lantern movie would have been, look, it's got to be a trilogy. The first one takes place on Earth, where we deal with the awesome fact of a UFO landing and giving a human being this ring that allows him to project his will into these three-dimensional and hard light constructs that can do anything his imagination wants him to. I mean, that's an amazing fact. Deal with some Earth villain, and then in the second movie we meet Sinestro, and we deal with outer space and the world beyond. We'll meet Oa. We go to Oa, and we see all the other Green Lantern Corps members, and we realize that this is this gigantic universal police force. And then in the third movie, we broaden it out to introduce the emotional spectrum. So I mean, really, you have to feed the movie-going audience this enormous concept in pieces. They can't handle it all at once, and I think the movie tried to do too much in one film, and it just was a mess. So I heard that my buddy Jeff Johns was writing a Green Lantern Corps movie. But Jeff was always writing stuff. Jeff, every time I talked to him, he was like, I'm writing a Flash movie. I'm writing a screenplay for Metal Men. I'm doing this. None of this stuff ever really came to be. And I started to understand that Hollywood was always employing people to write spec scripts and things that might happen, paying people to do work that would never actually be fulfilled. And I guess that's the way it works. It's got to be pretty frustrating to put your heart and soul into something and it never amount to anything. Finally, now in the year 2019, now 15 years after Green Lantern Rebirth, we are going to get a TV show, apparently, rumored, for HBO Max. I want to find out a little bit more about this. Honestly, Cosmic Book News is the first I heard of it, but it certainly does make sense considering the fact that DC is once again repackaging Green Lantern Rebirth, and they're going to release it as a hardcover. I think it's in February. I think it's coming out this February. That's pretty exciting. What is this? Shaving ad. Oh, tell me more about this. Isn't Gillette. This is the art of shaving. Fascinating. All right, let's keep reading. Of course, when you're reading these websites, unless you have ad blocker, you're going to get some ads. A new DC show is rumored to be in the works for the upcoming HBO Max streaming service with Green Lantern Corps. According to TVO, from Lords of the Longbox YouTube channel, Greg Berlanti is developing the Green Lantern Corps series, which will feature Kyle Rayner. Okay, Kyle Rayner is kind of the newbie on the team, I would say. If you discount Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, which I think at this point it's possible that DC Comics has discounted Jessica Cruz. I think they actually may have killed her, but we'll see. People are saying no, she'll be back. All right, that's fine. Kyle Rayner is from the '90s. He is the he's the youngest. I think he's the youngest Green Lantern Corps member, and he emerged when Hal Jordan went crazy and destroyed the world, or tried to. He became Parallax and was infected by the fear virus, etc., etc. Ended up just kind of dying. And Kyle Rayner got the ring and became Green Lantern all through the 90s. And the Kyle Rayner series, I think, kind of puttered at the end. I think it kind of sputtered out. Mostly, it seemed to be a lot of relationship issues. It was Kyle was dating Jade, and who was the daughter of Alan Scott, and she had green skin for some reason. And it was a lot of coffee shop nonsense. It was a lot of people sitting around talking. Written by Ron Mars, great big SJW. I wasn't crazy about it, and the other thing I really didn't like about it was that Kyle Rayner was always the book was always so impressed with itself because Kyle Rayner was always making elaborate constructs with his ring. He was an artist, so he'd be in outer space and he'd make an entire train fly through space and smash into you. And I always thought that was it sounded cooler than it actually looked. I was like, this sounds way cooler than it is. Why is he taking so much time to design these these constructs when really just a shape would have done the same trick? Why is he showing off? When I brought back Hal Jordan with Jeff Johns, I got to make choices and rethink these characters, and I really thought that Hal Jordan was not as much of not as much of a pansy as Kyle Rayner. And so my thing was that Hal Jordan just made shapes to get the job done. Okay, now he might make a boxing glove if he wanted something that was going to punch Sinestro in the face. He might make a construct boxing glove. But mostly what he was going to do was just simply make shapes. If you needed to move an asteroid out of the way, you would simply design a cylinder that would smack the asteroid out of the way. That would be your thoughts as somebody who was a guy who just wants to get the job done. And that's who I thought Hal Jordan was. Now, Kyle was always making, goofy things. He would make a giant grizzly bear in outer space that would... And I think it always kind of sounded cooler, again, than it looked. It was just a green grizzly bear in space, and it just wasn't really... It's not anything I would have done if I had the ring. Hal Jordan's use of the ring was more of a projection of his own will, just getting things done, accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish, which is what willpower will do. Kyle, interesting. I mean, you're gonna make a show about him, fine. The rest of the core, it'll be nice to see if we're able to use Kilowog, if we're able to use Sarlacc, if we're able to use any of the other big heavy hitters. I imagine Jade will be in the show if it's about Kyle Rayner. I'm hoping that means Alan Scott will get dragged in. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities here to make a pretty neat show. It's said that the reason Green Lantern Corps will be on HBO Max is that HBO Max will be able to give the series the best budget. They don't want to put it on the CW because the CW will not be able to do it justice as TVO. That's interesting. I actually think the CW shows are for kids. I try to watch them. They're a little bit... I don't know. They're a little bit Dawson's Creek with special effects, in my opinion. I really do think they're good, but they're for kids. And if you want to make a really good, sophisticated superhero show that can compete with something like, The Boys, but not be as vicious as The Boys, but something that's kind of substantial and that feels cinematic. I think the best bet is probably to go to HBO and not the CW. The official announcement about HBO Max saw Berlanti confirming to be creating original movies and content for the streaming service. If you're not familiar with the Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Long Box, the channel claims to have insiders connected to Warner Brothers and DC and Disney and Marvel. All right, so this is a scoop apparently from this guy, and he's got it way ahead of any announcement. So, for example, in this case, the channel recommends picking up the first appearance of Kyle Rayner in Green Lantern number 48. Yeah, that'll probably zoom up in value, I guess, with the hope being that when Green Lantern Corps series gets released and announced on HBO Max, the comic will rise in price, and obviously they can make a profit. All right, yeah. And you can't go wrong with this anyway. Darryl Banks is absolutely... Oh, he didn't do it? Wait, Ron Mars, Bill Willingham... He's a writer. Did Bill Willingham draw this? Romeo Tangal? Or did he help write it? Interesting. This is Darryl Banks' artwork here, for certain. I can even see his signature there. I don't know who did the interiors. I guess Romeo Tangal did. Jeff Johns was said to be developing a Green Lantern Corps movie. Right. It hasn't happened. I don't think it's going to happen. The channel previously recommended to buy the first appearances for She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and others, and as we saw at the recent D23 Expo, Marvel Studios announced. So this guy's been right. He's been right before. It looks like he'll be right again. Look at this. Look at this beautiful Doug Mahnke artwork. So the question is, who are we going to get to see? Out of the Green Lantern Corps here. Here's Kyle right down here. I'd love to see Stell back there. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably get to see the Guardians, obviously, if we're doing Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, a lot of good choices here. A lot of good choices. I like Stell. I would like to see Stell in this. Yeah. Oh, and Chase Salon. Chase Salon's the human diamond with well, he's not human. He's a living diamond with a mohawk and tentacles. I like that guy. Regarding use of Hal Jordan, it said the character is hands off, okay, because it's going to be in the J.J. Abrams Green Lantern and Superman movie. So it's going to be Superman and Hal Jordan. That sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to that. And regarding John Stewart, it said that Arrow's John Diggle will fill that role, as Diggle's father's name was Stewart, and that John Stewart will appear in the upcoming Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. So no John Stewart. What about Guy Gardner? Any word about Guy Gardner? No. So maybe Guy Gardner will be in the series too, and that would be kind of fun to see Guy Gardner, who is kind of a jerk and a bully, but he's got a good heart, team up with Kyle Rayner, who again I think is kind of a pansy. I know a lot of people, a lot of Kyle Rayner fans are going to get upset with me about that, but seriously, I've never been that fond. However, I did get a chance to put him back in his original costume. The people at DC, the creators at DC, didn't know what to do with Kyle. They changed his costume 800,000 times, and it was never an improvement. It's like, well, why don't you just put him in a original Green Lantern costume like Hal Jordan wears. You can put him like that, but he basically looks just like Hal Jordan at that point, except with a different haircut and a little younger. I said, why not just put him right back in the Darryl Banks suit, please? That was iconic. It was of the 90s. I really don't know why you guys keep changing everything. Just let me put him back. And I fought really hard, as I do. When I worked at DC Comics, I was fighting really hard all the time because I am very much a Green Lantern in and of myself, full of willpower. I always try to get my way. And eventually they did fold, and and one of my issues of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, to much applause from fandom, we put Kyle Rayner right back in his beautifully designed Darryl Banks Green Lantern suit, with one difference, and that being his logo, which I changed. My attitude about Green Lantern was that their logo should always look like this. There would be variations of this logo from Green Lantern to Green Lantern character, and it never made sense. It's like, is this the badge? Is this the symbol? Or is it not the symbol? I mean, it should be like Coca-Cola. It's pretty much the same wherever, it's been that cursive writing, and that's a logo that people recognize all over the world, whether they speak English or not. They know what it means. This symbol needs to always look like this with very few variations. And so I changed it, and I gave him the Green Lantern symbol on his chest, the same one that Hal wears and the same one that John Stewart wears, and it went over really, really, really well. And man, I'll tell you, I see my own work, and I kind of get happy. I'm like, I forgot about this piece. It looks good. All right, everyone, thanks for watching another comic book video by me. Let's talk about comics a little bit more. I'm kind of in the mood lately. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, please hit subscribe. Please leave comments in the comments section below. Let me know what you think. Are you excited about possibly an HBO Max Green Lantern TV show? I guess it's going to be on their streaming service. Does that make you want to maybe, subscribe or not? Do you not care? And what do you think about Kyle Rayner being the lead instead of, say, Guy Gardner or even Kilowog? Kilowog would be great. Let me know. I'm interested in your thoughts. Thanks, everyone. See you again soon. Hey, I got a P.O. Box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Join the Fandom Menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description.